So it's allocation season, and I honestly can't believe I haven't made this video. Let's talk about the 5 cult favorite bottles. I just don't get the hype. Stay tuned after the break and we'll talk about it. So we all know overhyped bottles. There are some of them currently on my shirt, although I would argue a lot of these are really good bottles. But we're going to start out with one that's on this shirt, and we're going to move to other ones. And basically the premise of this video is there are bottles out there that people sell high on secondary, they chase, they overpay for, and I just don't get it. Like some bottles of whiskey, I just don't get the hype. Like they're not for me, and I get that. So I'm gonna gripe a little bit in this video. And if some of these are your favorites, be sure to drop a comment, tell me why I'm wrong. But we're gonna just get right into it. And the first bottle on this list is Elmer T. Lee. So Elmer T. Lee is a Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 2 single barrel, which they're all single barrels except Ancient Age. Think about that one for a second. When Elmer T. Lee talks about bourbon, he uses smooth, he uses vanilla, he uses, sweet. Those are things that I like in bourbon, but they're not how I just want my whiskey to be. Like, I don't want a smooth vanilla whiskey. That's just, you can buy Crown Vanilla out there. But Elmer T. Lee is, in my experience, now I've had many single barrels. I've probably had pours of 5 or 6 different ones, and they are all exactly what he says. He wants them to be smooth. He wants them to be understated. He wants, big notes of vanilla. Like, I would take Bland's over Elmer T. Lee all day, every day. And it's only 3 proof points difference, but I find Blanton's to be much more complex. And I know I've probably said this in 20 different videos that I just don't love Elmer T. Lee. And I get it. Look, I'm probably beating a dead horse at this point, but there are still people out there who are paying crazy amounts of money for Elmer T. Lee. The MSRP jumped from like 40 to 80. So it's now, I think, a little bit less on secondary because of that. It's just one that I will never understand the hype. Second on my list is kind of in the same vein. It is Michter's 10-year bourbon arrived. Doesn't really matter. To me, it's underproofed, and Michter's products are overpriced for what they are. Now, I will say that it probably packs more flavor because it's, closer to barrel proof than most things at 90 proof. And I get that. I still don't think the lower entry proof breaks down the barrel as well as a 125 proof. That's just my personal opinion. I had the really good one that people loved. What was it, 2 years ago? I think it was like a 23B or something like that. And people were raving about it. A lot of people had it as whiskey of the year. It just doesn't do it for me. It is not high enough proof for me to enjoy it. And yes, that is my bias, but it is $200 for a 91 proof 10-year-old bourbon. When Eagle Rare is sitting there, even at secondary being $100. $100 for Eagle Rare 10. At this point, I think Eagle Rare 12 is like 150, 200, something like that. I would buy Eagle Rare 12 at 95 proof over every batch of Michter's 10 I've ever had. And it's not even close. But I find the complexity on Eagle Rare to be more than the complexity on Michter's. I just don't get it. I know this is probably the one that I'm going to grab. Well, there's one later that I might grab more hate for. But this one I think is a cult favorite. People just go bonkers for. And hey, I'm one less person chasing it, so there you go. Third on the list is Old Forester Birthday Bourbon. Last year, 2024's was, I think, 107 proof, and I enjoyed that. The problem is, it is so hard to find for MSRP. It's one of, I would say, the hardest bottles to find at MSRP. Like, I think it's that King of Kentucky, like, BTAC are some of the hardest bottles to find at MSRP. For the rarity of it and for what it packs, I just don't really get it. I think there's a lot of whiskeys on this list. I think you'll see a trend towards lower proof whiskeys at high price being things that I don't like, and that tracks with my personality. People are trading it for like Old Fitz 13 VVS. And I get Old Fitz 13 was a 100 proof, $275 bottle. It was on my top 5 for last year. It packs the flavor to be top 5. But that's, a little inconsistent, and I'll own that. To me, Old Forester Birthday Bourbon is even more rare, and it's something that I'm not going to chase. I've had just as many ones that I was meh about as that I really enjoyed. So to me, it's a gamble when I know those Old Fitz VVSs are really good. I know I'm comparing unicorns to unicorns, but to me, there's bottles that I would much rather try and get than Old Forester Birthday Bourbon. It just is what it is. Now, on the flip side of that, we are going to also talk about regular Old Fitz. There's obviously exceptions. The Old Fitz VVS 13 last year, and the 16 that I've had, thanks to my buddy Vin. The 9-year just dropped in Pennsylvania, and I think it was like $150, right? And it's 2 years older than the widely available 7-year at double the price. So what are we doing here? Like, Heaven Hill, what are we doing here making 9-year-old old fits? And sure, you can argue that it's better, but the younger batches of old fits that I've had don't even hold a candle to any of the VVSs. Even the 19-year was oaky, but it wasn't as complex as what we've seen in the 13 VVS, the 14 VVS, the 16 VVS. I'm going after those 10 times out of 10, the red label VVSs over either the green or the black labels. And it's where I'm at right now. I'm not usually a big proponent of this, but I would buy 2 bottles of the 7-year over 1 bottle of the 9-year and not look back. I like it that much. I think the 7-year is a sweet spot and it's a decently available bottle for a good price. And then finally, this one is going to probably catch me a bunch of hate, and I honestly don't even care. And that's Willet Purple Tops. So I have an axe to grind with Willet, and that's in their pricing. But also the Purple Tops, it's in addition to pricing, I also have an axe to grind with the fact that they are not in any way transparent about what is in the barrel. You can get a high rye bourbon, you can get a wheated bourbon, you can get a low rye bourbon. You can say that there's codes on the bottles, but there's no master code list, and that's honestly a thing that Willet should have on their website. Tell me what the 3900 series is. Tell me what the 5200 series is. If you have that information, post it to your freaking website. Like, I don't want Joe Schmo at some random liquor store telling me that, oh, the 3900 series is the low rye, and really it's high rye. Stop playing these stupid games and put the transparency out there and price it appropriately. There is no reason that a 10-year-old Willet Rye at like 112 proof should be almost $400. It's ridiculous. You're making even the like River Roots stuff look cheap. Like, stop it with the pricing. The pricing is dumb. It is absolutely stupid. And yes, there are great ones out there. I've had a couple of 10, 11, 12-year ones that are good, but I've had just as many of the 9-year that I had to sit there and be nice about because this is this person's prized possession, and I have to say, oh yeah, it's really good. I did not like it. There's actually legitimately such a wide swing in purple tops that it's so hard to be trusting that what you're going to get is catered to your palate. Or at least maybe that's just me. Maybe it's me knowing my palate and, knowing exactly what I want, that I would rather buy a George T. Stagg than a 13-year purple top. Every time I would gamble on paying secondary for a George T. Stagg because I know it's something that I'm going to enjoy. I've never had a George T. Stagg that I didn't enjoy. I've had a few Willet Purple Tops that I did not enjoy for the same, if not more price, even at MSRP. Pennsylvania had, I think, a 13-year rye for $450 or something like that. Awfully priced, and I know I lumped the green tops into the purple tops. The purple tops are no better. Like, even when you see purple top store picks, they are a crazy price. Like, over $20 a year. It's not acceptable. It is absolutely bonkers. I don't get the hype. Drop in the comments what bottles you don't get the hype for. If they're ones on my shirt, I'd love to hear it. Like, I love to hear your comments. I always love to hear why people like or don't like the things that they like. So drop in the comments which ones on my list you don't agree with. Tell me which bottles you think don't deserve the hype or the cult following. If you want to support the channel, we have a merch store, link in the description. We have Patreon memberships for a sticker club and a sample club, and we also have memberships here on YouTube. So check those out. Check out the merch store for merch like this. If you like this content, check out our other videos. Please like and comment on this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and we hope you'll join us in drinking like a gentleman. Cheers. I'm that guy when my friends tell me they didn't like something. I ask, oh, why didn't you like that? Because I like learning about people's palates.